when I first started selling online, shipping was one of the hardest things I had to conquer. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you exactly how to figure out what to charge for shipping when you've got an item that you're selling on eBay. So stay tuned. We're going to look at an item step by step so you'll know exactly how to calculate the shipping before the item sells. One of the great things about shipping through the platform that you are selling on is that these sites get shipping discounts. So you'll pay a little bit less than you would if you were just getting your shipping label from the post office directly. I know there are other places like Pirate Ship that you can look to get cheaper shipping, but this is something I've looked at, but I haven't really found any cheaper prices. I know some people swear by it. And the thing about that is you can still get your tracking number and upload it to your sale. So that's going to be really important if you go outside of eBay or Etsy to get your shipping label. The next part of this is the part that was the hardest thing for me when I first started, and that was figuring out how much I should charge for shipping. This has gotten easier over time, but I have to say this was the hardest part of reselling for me when I first started because I wasn't accurately measuring how much something weighed or how much I thought it would, what size box it would be. I really had to learn to slow down and go in and measure and weigh everything. And it was kind of daunting at first, but there were so many times that I did not calculate the right amount, and the amount was coming out of my profits because I was over, on the shipping. I was having to pay an extra $2, $3, $4 because I didn't calculate it correctly. And rather than canceling the sale because it's not the buyer's fault, I just had to eat that and use it as a learning experience because it was my fault. So once I really got the hang of it and figured out like, okay, being able with time to learn like this weighs about this much, this is about how big it is. I don't have to do it as often. There are still items that I will weigh and figure out what box I'm going to put it in so that I know for a fact that I'm not going to end up like owing money or being in the negative, because that can happen if you don't calculate your shipping correctly. And this kind of leads into free shipping. Early on, I started trying free shipping, and that was another area that I really messed up with because I was such a novice at reselling that I started free shipping. I was doing all the things that people were saying to do, right? And I was doing best offer. And so I would take an offer, but then I would forget like, oops, I have free shipping. So now like that ate into the profit, it ate into the shipping amount that I was supposed to charge. So for many, many years, I just stopped doing free shipping altogether, and I recently turned it back on to try, and I probably had it on for the last couple of months, and just in the last couple of days I've decided I'm not doing this. I don't see an increase in my sales, and I know people have said, oh, they still, you're still getting eBay fees. That, yeah, my reason for doing it wasn't for the fees. My reason was trying to see if I got more sales. And I didn't really see much of an uptick in sales. So I went ahead and went back and put on calculated shipping. So let's take a peek. I've chosen this panda bear that I've got, and it's a 10-inch Thai bear. And as you can see, you can see here that the shipping right now is $5.52, but this is based on like where I live, right? Let's say that I want to change this. I like to use 90210 because it's funny. But another thing to do is like use like Bangor, Maine, or like someplace in Alaska or someplace in Hawaii that's in the United States, but far away from where, depending on where you are. If you're in Maine, pick Los Angeles or something like that. And from here to 90210, then our shipping changes to $6.09. So it varies based on distance. It varies based on, the weight and the size and all this. So let's go in, and I'm going to show you when you're creating your listing how to set this up so that they calculate it for you. We've got our panda here. I'm going to come over to revise my listing and we're going to look at how I set up my calculated shipping. As you can see, I make sure that I take photos of my item with the measuring tape so that when I start listing later, frequently I take a bunch of pictures and then I list later. I'll remember that this isn't like a Beanie Baby little one, it's a big one, right? So I make sure I have my measurements in my photos and in my description. Here we go. So here we're looking at our shipping. Now I have selected standard shipping. I'm having eBay calculate it for me. The reason I choose to do this is because if the item sells and it's going across to Denver, it's not going to cost that much. But if it's going to Juneau, Alaska, it's going to cost more. And I don't have to figure out every single zip code in order to be able to calculate that. And if I choose like, okay, I'm just going to charge $7, well, then the people that live closer to me are having to pay more. I type in the package dimensions that I think my item will fit in. Usually I'll make sure I have the box and the measurements correct, and then the weight of the item. On this one, I estimated a little bit over. A lot of times I'll add a few extra ounces. I'll take the box, the shipping material, the item, I'll weigh it with my scale, see how much it is, and then I'll add just a little bit of cushion, a few extra ounces to make sure that I am not messing up along the way somewhere. So that is what I do, and then I select calculated. Cost varies based on buyer's location, but as you can see, you can select flat rate. So if you're using a flat rate box, you can select that, put the amount of the flat rate in there and just leave it be. But because I'm using Ground Advantage, and at the moment, for most of my items, that's the only option I have. You can go in and select additional services. So let's say I don't use FedEx or US or UPS, but if I wanted to, I could come back and add that. But let's say I want to add in priority flat rate box so that the buyer can choose which option they would like. But for the most part, I just leave it at Ground Advantage. And then if somebody were to say, I really want you to ship it flat rate, can we adjust that? Can you put that in there as an option? And then I'll go put it in as an option. And at the moment, I have turned off international shipping. I have always shipped internationally, even as an early seller. But as a new seller for you, maybe it's something to consider just to hold off on international shipping for the moment. But if you were to turn this on, let me show you what that looks like. Again, I would want to calculate it because it's going to be different going to New Zealand versus going to Canada. Then the services I would choose from, because it is under a certain weight, and international first class versus priority, the weight discrepancy is different. I think it's like 3 to 5 pounds to do international priority. So this one would be, they would be able to choose first class, and you can see that it would cost about that much to ship it, maybe to Canada versus New Zealand or something like that. So there's lots of different priority options, and you can see, look, Worldwide Express is 100 and something. Yeah, some are quite expensive. So let's say I save that. Ships worldwide. If you're wanting to not have anything outside, let's say North and South America or Canada, or you're wanting to exclude certain countries for some reason, then you can go in and select, I'm only wanting it to go to North America, South America, Canada, Mexico, anything in Europe, UK, and I'm gonna leave off Australia. Not really though. So ships worldwide. So that is what you would do if you were wanting to include international. I recommend doing calculated as long as you've got your box and shipping and weight and everything is all, you've got it all lined up. And I wanted to show you the difference in price if you're getting your shipping label from USPS versus on eBay. So I'm using the same panda weight measurements and all that. On the USPS, if I am shipping it 15 ounces and I'm going to ship it, let's scroll down to Ground Advantage, you can see that it would cost about $8.60 to ship it if I just went to the post office and got my label, or I ordered it online from home. Now, if I order it from eBay, there's an eBay shipping calculator to try to figure that out. So on the eBay shipping calculator, I've entered in all of my package dimensions, my weight, my destinations, and you can see here that the shipping price would be $6.09 versus the $8.60. I like that they show you like this is what it would be on the USPS and this is what you're getting charged over here. So you're getting charged a lot less when you are buying your shipping through eBay. I'm sure there are questions that you've got that I've missed. Make sure you leave those questions in the comments section down below so that I can come address them. Also, if I do a follow-up, I don't want you to miss it. So make sure you've hit the subscribe button and the little bell, because sometimes I'll go live and I can answer some of the questions from the video in the comment section that perhaps I overlooked or didn't think about. So if you've got those questions, leave them down there for me to answer or for other sellers to answer, and hit that notification bell so you are aware and notified when I go live to answer any other questions that might pop up that I missed. I appreciate you watching and so much luck to you. I really know that you can do this and that you're going to be successful, and I can't wait to hear how amazing your reselling business is going. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.